They're straggling in. We do have an agenda. Let's put up the agenda slide, if we will. Let's love up again for our AV and sound people. Yay. Thank you. So the agenda says, for those who may have a hard time reading that, and we are live streaming, by the way, so hello to you live streamers if any are out there, and it's being recorded. So we have opening prayer, which I'll do shortly, and welcome, which I'm doing now. Summary and overview of our financials, and I'll just say that we're not going to go over this in detail. We've been having open forums. We're going to have a town hall, not town hall, what do you call it in March? The annual meeting in March, and so I'm going to count on you coming to that to see the whole financial plan, but we want you to know where we are, and Beth Van Arkel, our board president, and Elke Moritz, our treasurer, will go into that just a little bit as a highlight. As you heard this morning, our 80th anniversary is this year, and so Nancy Hester, who's chairing our planning committee, will give you a brief update on that, more to come. And then we want the bulk of this to be idea generation. The thought is that engagement, to get all of you involved with our status, where we are, and what we do about it. So we're going to break into small groups. Robert Leeds is going to lead that, pun intended. Robert Leeds is going to lead that. Did you get it? And then we're going to come back and have a large group discussion. And we may ask you to come forward. We have mics, but we want to make it intimate. And then go into next steps and closing prayer. Is that a deal? Good? Okay. So let us come together in prayer. Allowing yourself to settle in your seat. Allowing your breathing to settle. After a lovely meal, giving thanks for the meal that we just had. For the conversation and the camaraderie that we enjoyed. From the worship service that we had together this morning. We've had a good, great, grand, glorious day. And as we gather here for this continuation of the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living, our town hall gathering, we do so with gratitude and thanksgiving. We do so because we are an established community. We do so because we come together to share information, and we come together to generate ideas together and to be in this together here in our beloved community. Acknowledging that everything we do is for the glory of the infinite. That we recognize right where we are that Spirit is. Right in the midst of our joys and our challenges, no matter what they may be, therein lies the presence and the power of the infinite. As we remind each other of that, I call this meeting today in divine order, divine orchestration with creativity and with love. We give thanks for this and for the more. And we let it be and let it be well. And so it is. And so once again, we're just going to give you, the objective of our gathering today is to share information. We just approved, the Board of Trustees of the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living just approved our budget, and we want to tell you about that. We've been telling you about our financial status, which is not unlike many organizations who have higher expenses than they do income. And so we've had to make some reductions, and we want to show you what those are. And we want to generate the ideas to support the rise of the income, the revenue. And so that's what we're up to today, and our 80th anniversary has everything to do with it. because we've been a thriving community even in the leaner times, and we still are and will continue to be a thriving spiritual community. And it's going to, yes, amen. Let's get an amen. Thank you, Robert. Yes. And so it is. I like that too. And so it's going to take all of us thinking creatively, working together. Volunteerism is so important because we thrive on volunteers. And we're going to all have to just hunker in together. That's what this is about. So with no further ado, I'm going to turn the mic over to our treasurer, Ms. Elke Moritz, and followed by, she'll pass the mic to Ms. Beth Van Arkel, and we'll go from there. Thank you for your time and attention and your presence. Would you prefer to be at the podium, or you?
I think I stay down here.
You stay down there, and okay, just keep the.
Yeah. Okay, you know who I am, and I'm the treasurer, and I can prove it. So, so I'm going to talk about. We don't have this. There, here we go. So we have looked at this at our last forum, but I will go over it briefly again. The update we have is for 2024. Before we had 9 months in there, and now we've upped it to the full 12 months for 2024. So here we go. 2022, our total income was $283,345. $283,345. The expenses were $320,309, and of that expense number, $149,557 were personnel expenses. They are included in that 320,000, and that left us with a net loss of $36,965. On to 2023. Total income, $357,234 in income, and there is a note down below that says that 2023 income include $41,106 ERC claim, and that was part of the pandemic money that had been applied for after 2020, or during 2020 and the following year, and we finally got the money in 23. The total expenses were $405,584, and of that, the personnel expenses were $224,346. I would like to point out at this point that the personnel expenses, the percentage of the total expenses the ratio is going up. The personnel expenses are more than 50%. So, and it left us with a net loss of $48,350. 2024, freshly updated. Total income, $342,444. Total expenses were $283,586. And of that total expense, $208,142 are personnel expenses. And so we ended up in 2024 with $40,440 loss. I want to point out that the math isn't quite correct in this year because we plugged in the updated figures and we're off by about $700 in the expense section. So, but that sometimes happens because the postings have been done, have not been completed. So I just wanted to point that out in case any of you are checking our math. So, and the total of the net loss for the 3 years is $125,755. So we have been running on this loss basis, which means an unbalanced budget, basically. There's more expenses than there is income, and that's how we get there. So much for that. Can we have the next slide, please? Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the revenue and what items are the components of our revenue stream in those figures that I just read you. There are donations, contributions, and tithes, and that is the congregation's offerings each month. And then there are in-kind donation, which is when some person provides goods or actually not services, but mostly donations of a material kind that they're not reimbursed for, that they get credit that the donation was made. Facilities use is when we rent out our building next door to different groups, and some groups are here every week or every month or every year, and the uses of the facilities are not an even number from year to year. Some years are much higher than others, so we are looking at averages and trends here mostly to make sense of this. Then we have applied for some grants and have received grants occasionally, but they have to be applied for. Somebody has to write the grant, somebody has to be willing to pay out the grant, and then when we do get the grants, they have to be accounted for in special ways. Then there are gifts, which include gifts given through trust and will documents, and include donations of stock and other instruments that represent money. And education and development activities, classes and workshops are part of the revenue stream. Activity donations, like the vision board party, which is always a wonderful event, jewelry making, and note cards for bookstore sales, serving brunches after service, for which we make donations in that big fat green jar. And then there are miscellaneous donations of, I don't know what the miscellaneous would be, but small items, not big repeat revenues. And that's it for the revenue. And now I will hand over the mic to Beth, our board president, who will talk about expenses.
Okay, thank you for putting the slide up already. Okay, this is the most important part, because you're all wondering what have we been doing to try to reduce our expenses and increase our revenues. So I'm talking about what we've done this year to reduce our expenses. As you can see, big expenses are utilities, PG&E, East Bay Mud, waste management, phone and internet. We haven't been able to do a lot about PG&E. It's very expensive, but as long as everyone keeps the lights off and turns off the heaters, we're doing the best we can about that. Waste management, we did get a little reduction on that, but that's a difficult thing to reduce too, because we don't control the charges for those. East Bay Mud also, but we are doing more manually watering instead of our automatic sprinklers to help out with that. And phones, I went through the phone contracts and I talked to the vendors, and we reduced that to fewer phones and lesser amount per phone, so that was reduced, that contract. On the other contracts, we have janitorial, we have landscaping, we have IT and copiers. I did a lot with those contracts. I reduced the janitorial 10% like the other staff people, and the hours, and the landscaping is no longer going to be every week, it's every other week. And IT, we used to have ongoing maintenance fees, and now we've eliminated all of that as just services as needed on an hourly basis. And the copier, we tried to reduce that contract, but in order to reduce the amount, they wanted to extend the contract, and we don't want to keep that copier for more years. So we didn't change that. Salaries, staff and contract personnel. This is the most recent thing we've done, and everyone on staff has taken 10% pay reduction or 10% in hours reduction starting this year, starting February 1st. Speaker fees, we reduced the amount we pay for speaker fees now. Music, we've already started that. As you probably noticed, we only have maybe 2 people, not a band, not a full complement anymore. So we're trying to keep that expense under $500 per Sunday. Reduce contributions. Yes, we've also reduced what we're giving to Central CSL, and we've also reduced for the nonprofit program because we're now only going to have one every other month, not every month, so we're reducing the donations in half for that. Yeah, I guess that covers that. I can't think of anything else, but I have looked at all the contracts, and the board has talked about this every meeting. We're doing everything we can possibly to reduce expenses, but even doing all of this, we're still not in a balanced budget. We still need more facilities, rentals, more fundraising income. So I guess we'll move on to the next things, but if anybody has any other ideas after today, they want to tell me anything or suggest anything, email me at beth@CSL. Yes, oaklandcsl.com. Yes. Sure.
Hang on, Cheryl. Hang on.
You want the mic?
Yes.
I have a big voice. Do you want me
Yeah,
to just
yes,
raise it?
because of the live stream.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
That's all right.
So I do have a comment. When I had my facility in San Leandro, one of my biggest expenses was phone. With AT&T, I switched to Vonage. Have you looked at that? Vonage.
We didn't change the companies. We just reduced the number of phones and the price per phone that we're paying.
I'm just suggesting that maybe you might want to look at some alternatives to your traditional AT&T phones, because Vonage has a great plan, and I sliced my phone bill more than 50% by switching.
Okay.
If I could, thank you for that, Cheryl. And so when we get into the, the agenda's not up, but when we get into, just so that we can keep this contained, because y'all probably have questions or comments. So let's wait until we get into the ideas generation. And if you have an expense reduction idea like Cheryl just did, include it there so that we can have it captured. I also want to say this is worth a pause. Anytime I've worked in corporate for a long time in nonprofits, and anytime we get to a place where we have to reduce salaries is a moment of pause. So I just, in being responsible, want to tell you that we did it with thought and care. And as far as notifying staff, talking to them in person, putting it in writing, people understood, but it's a hardship. And we didn't want to do it. We wouldn't do it if we didn't have to do it. Myself included, by the way. I am included in that. And so we do what we have to do, but we have to put together a plan of address so that we can restore and that we can build. We want to build our reserves. We want to get into a balanced budget, what Beth is talking about, and I know many of you understand, but just to break it down, I'm sorry, live streamers. Oh, he probably pointed the camera. Let me go back over here. The camera moves. But what was I saying? Reserves and a pause and all of that. Yeah. I'm one of them. It was a lot that I was saying, I was on a roll, and I came over here to tell you the rest of it, and now I forgot what it was. But we need a plan. We need a plan. So the plan that was put in place was a 10% salary reduction for 6 months. After 6 months, we're going to reassess. We have time. This is not a doom and gloom kind of meeting. It's just a reality check of what we've had to do, and we need to put some things in place to bring some revenue here so that we can balance it. And oh, I was going to talk about the balanced budget, and then we'll turn it over. I think Nancy is next. What Beth is talking about is we've been running in the red every month. When I first came 2 years ago, it was high. It was like, you know, some months it was up to $10,000 in the red. We brought it down to like 3,000. Y'all have been giving more, thank you so much. We've been having fundraisers and different things. And we've been reducing the expenses, but it hasn't been enough. So this is that next step for us to kick in, and we're about at, in this budget, if you average it across the months, it's about $3,000 a month in the red. So we like the color black on the books. Our bookkeeper is nodding her head. We want it to be in the positive and go above so that we can not only operate in the black on a monthly basis, but we can also begin putting back into our reserves. Make sense? Okay, so I know you have questions. Jot your questions down if you do, your comments. We want to collect all that, and the board wants to hear it and talk about it. Next on the agenda, is it Nancy? Yes. Okay, Nancy, you're up. Okay.
Good morning. You all remember who I am. I'm Nancy Hester. I'm an OCSL board member, and I'm also the chair of the committee for our 80th anniversary celebration. I quickly volunteered to head this committee because it's exciting to celebrate a center that has been in business for 80 years. For you newcomers, there's a lot of history here, which we will share in the days to come. And my, have we grown. There's a lot to celebrate for this 80th anniversary celebration, and I love a good party. We have an amazing hand-picked team who is dedicated to making our 80th celebration a memorable event. We had our kickoff meeting a couple weeks ago, and it was unanimous, I'll give you a little tidbit, that we're going to hold our event here at our facility. So we're moving along with plans to include an event for each month and or a fundraiser to help support this event. I don't have a lot of time, but if any of our team members are present on the committee, would you mind standing? Thank you, Shirley. So please know it takes a lot to put on an event that we want you all to experience, and we can't do it alone. The center is dependent upon your participation, so we're asking for volunteers to help assist us, not only on the day of, but also leading up to our big gala, which is scheduled for September. This can include special events we're planning each month, stay tuned, as well as helping out the day of to make sure things run smoothly. If you would like to contribute your time, our team would love to hear from you. Beginning today, there is a sign-up sheet in the lobby. Please be sure to include your name and contact information and your time availability preference. We look forward to uplifting and celebrating with you our 80th anniversary celebration. Thank you.
I don't know which one it is. There we go. We missed a page. Sorry about that. I wasn't looking at my notes, and this is opportunities, and Beth pointed to me, so here I am. These are just opportunities that you can consider when you get into your breakout groups. Y'all probably have more ideas, but we wanted you to just be thinking about things like, I keep harping up and down about a capital campaign. I would like to raise some big money. Like, I'd love for us to put together some ideas and raise $200,000. That's what I'm talking about. We need some large-scale money. Sanford. I'm looking at you, talking to you, Sanford. He's an expert in the house in that. General fundraising, we have lots of things. This includes concerts, speaker series, different things, the vision board party, just different things that we're doing. Even like, I don't know, Carmen, I see you in the back. I don't know if for your social justice ministry, your movie review, I don't know if you're having like a entrance fee or whatever. On the engagement survey that we had, there was a comment or two where somebody said, well, do you have to charge for everything? We have to balance that out. Now we're putting out the jar. You don't have to contribute to food or snacks or whatever, but you better believe it goes on our expense line, right? So we're gonna have to expand our thinking. Tight expense management and be in a growth mode. Because we're trying to grow, not trying to, we want to grow. And increase membership. Membership equates, it doesn't have to be all about money. It's about community, and we want to increase membership, which all these tie together. Increase volunteerism, because when we do more activities, we need more volunteers to do the activities. Increase giving, which you've heard Reverend Jerry do a beautiful job, thank you so much, during the pledge season, of telling you the reasons why we give. It's not only because of our budget, but it's about spiritual principle. It's about the law of circulation. It's about what we study here in the science of mind. Grants, there's more grants that we can apply for, but usually grant writing is a specific skill. So we hired, we're still waiting to hear on a security grant, a $30,000 security grant, by the way, that we applied for with the help of a grant writer. If we have grant writing expertise in the house, we need your help. So this is how you can help. And that dovetails into the next one, need specialized skills and expertise. I put marketing, technology, fundraising, and development. If there's somebody in the house beyond who is sitting in the audience that knows how to do a capital campaign, we need to hear from you and have your guidance, and if there's other ideas. So just wanted to share with you about opportunities. What's next on the, I think it's, Robert, is it your turn? Hang on. Okay, yes, I think I'm going to call up Robert Leeds, who is going to, we're going to break off into groups so that everybody can have a chance to speak and capture your ideas, and then we'll come back in the large group.
Hi, everybody. So I'm going to describe the idea generation process that we're going to use, basically just brainstorming. But I just want to put a couple of things in perspective. Over the past couple of years, I've been more involved with the National CSL organization. I'm co-chair of the member council, and I'm also on the nominating committee. And I attend a lot of Zoom meetings that I have people from all over the country, actually all over the world, a lot of people from North America and South America and Africa. And, the truth is everybody is dealing with the same kind of thing. There are some centers that are pretty financially flush, but the majority of centers are being challenged financially. COVID really just knocked everything out of whack, as you recall. And I think there was something like 100 different centers that either closed, went totally online, or consolidated with other centers during the pandemic. So we are blessed to have this facility. We are blessed to have a nice little nest egg in the bank that is collecting interest, generating passive income, which is another thing we can look more at. So it's not a desperate situation, and at the same time, it's been unsustainable. So I really want to just give a shout out to the board and Reverend Sunshine Michelle and the people that have worked really hard over the past year, especially to reduce the expenses. Judith Roberts and myself and Larry Wyman worked with Elka on a finance committee to give some suggestions in that direction. The board made some hard decisions about that. The latest being, of course, a 10% reduction, which nobody wants to see. And we're hoping that that'll really be a temporary situation and that we'll bounce back. And the thing that I want to emphasize is that it's already happening. I mean, if you've been coming on Sundays, you see that we have, have a better attendance on Sundays than we've had for a few years. So attendance has gone up, contributions have gone up, and we're moving in the right direction. The amount of shortfall that we had a year ago was like cut in half. And like Reverend Sunshine Michelle said, we still have a ways to go, but it's not a huge mountain to climb. A couple of $1,000s a month, make it 3 or 4 so that we can start building up our reserves again, and we'd be there, And so if everybody gave 10% more than what they're currently giving, that would probably get us like halfway there. Bring in another 10 or 20 people every Sunday. 20 people giving $100 a month, that would fill up the gap as well. So it's not a faraway goal. It's something that is very achievable, but we do need to work together and be creative in our approach to generate that income. And so there's kind of 2 big buckets. One is generating income. Another, I think, would be just growth, having that growth mindset to bring in more members. And there's lots of different ways to do that on both those sides, and that's what we want to talk about. And we know that all of us are smarter than any one of us, so we want to have a brainstorming session. We're going to break down into smaller groups. We're going to try to have a board member in each of the groups, and I think Judith and I and Reverend Sunshine Michelle were volunteering to help kind of facilitate that process in the groups. And I see Reverend Sunshine Michelle is counting at this very moment. And we're going to figure out how many groups we're going to be. I'm thinking groups of about, like 8 to 10 maybe, which would be about 4 groups, 4 or 5 groups? 5 groups of 8 people. So now comes the really, really hard part. I'm going to have you count off by 5. Now, you all learned to do this in elementary school, but I know it's been a long time. What's that? Oh, well, yeah. So let's start over here. 1. Keep going on your own. 1. After 5, back to 1. You're doing great. Keep going. Where are we? All right, I'll be 5. But once we break down into groups, we might have some of the board members rearrange a little bit just so that there's like one in each. That way they can, be hearing that feedback. So a couple things to keep in mind. So the basic prompt that we're asking you to consider is, what are ideas to bring visibility and to raise funds for our center? Okay, so it could be things to directly financial, putting on a concert and raising money that way, or it could be something that increases membership, going out into the community in some way, and or bring a friend to service Sunday once a month. We want each group to have a note taker, somebody who can write relatively legibly, so that they can turn those notes into the board, so they can consolidate all of that. And we want a person from each group to report out to we're going to come back together in the end and have another discussion, and we want each group to report back to the larger group. And when you're in the individual groups, make sure that everybody has a chance to be heard. If somebody's being particularly quiet, bring them into the fold. And again, just no ideas are not valuable. All ideas are valuable. So just put out whatever's there. Don't analyze the idea, like we already did that and it didn't work, blah, blah, blah. We are in a growth mindset and we are open to all ideas. And if you have ideas about how to build on something, great, definitely add that. So I think that's it. And yes, Jerry?
Will the twos come over here, please? Because I'm taking notes and I don't want to have to move my table. Okay.
Special request from Jerry. So let's have all the ones over here, all the twos over here, 3s back there, 4s back there, and the 5s can be in the prayer room, in the upper room. Would that work? You can grab a chair if you need to. Twos are over here, yeah. So we're going to give you, we'll see how things are after about a half an hour. We'll kind of check in and see how things are going.
If you'd start to wrap up your comments, according to that clock, we have 3 more minutes, and begin coming back to your seats, if you would. Sorry, I hope I didn't blow your ears out over here. I know that's not gonna do it, right? Yeah. If you could start coming back and come forward, try not to sit in the back so that we can all hear each other and feel each other's energy we just generated.
spokesperson was going to share the information, so you want to do anything else?
No, they're going to turn it, they want to be sure and turn in their shoes.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, but because what some groups say might spur some more ideas, so I think we want to give a little bit of time for people to bounce off of it. Yeah, but yeah, I think we have time. We'll see how it goes.
Here, you can keep going. Robert, you can keep going. I tried to get people to sit forward, maybe they're not willing.
Come on back, come on back. So what we want to do is have each group report out to the large group, and we'll do our 5 different groups, and then we'll have a little bit of time if anything new comes up during that sharing. We hope to have a little bit of time to get your ideas and input from that. And remember, I was saying that we're not that far away from where we need to be. Keep in mind that, I mentioned this to my group, there are over 1.6 million people in Alameda County. I mean, we just want like 20, 30, 40, 50 of those. That's not hard, out of 1.6 million. We know that they're out there. We know that there are people who resonate with our philosophy, who are looking for community, and it's really just a matter of making that connection and bringing people in. So who was the spokesperson for group number 1? Beth, wait, you need to speak into the amplifying
what I'm told
machine.
we did with the live stream. You save the chat, please? Whoever, Alice, can you ask Alice to save the chat?
I'll give, hello, hello. Is this, oh, okay. Okay. Oh, here we go.
That one is.
Well, I have a huge list here. I don't think we can go over all of these things. People ask that we have clear information about how to be a member, how to be a practitioner, that there's one-page handouts that people can easily find out this information. We also talk about having flyers that everyone can take to their work, to their gym, to their coffee store, to the libraries, to promote us. We talked about prayer circles, visioning, garage sales. Oh, a big thing we talked about was name tags. Some people said we should always have name tags. New people come, when they check in, get a name tag so people can come up and talk to you. And regular members, people who've been here a long time, maybe we can have a medal thing like we have here or something. What else on here? Oh, contact, we want to increase use of the facility because that's our best fundraiser. So we had a lot of ideas about contacting event planners, wedding planners, library meeting places, whatever, to promote this place. Renting to nurseries, high school kids, other classes, schools, classes on yoga or crafts or anything like that to get people in here and using the facility and being in community. And getting sponsors, like even when we have events, can go to Safeway, ask them if they donate some food, go to the cafes, ask if they'll donate anything, so that we're not paying for everything. We're getting donations for some of the events that we're having. Did I miss anything critical, team?
No auctions. I love the auctions.
Oh, she came in Rose became back because of the auctions, and she really liked having the auctions, and she said she wanted practitioners and ministers and everyone to donate a session on the auctions so that people could get involved with somebody here to learn more about it.
Let's give it up for group 1, yay! Okay, group 2, you want to pass your mic to?
Excuse me for not standing, it's just easier to read. So we have 25 items. I'll go through them quickly. A bake sale, particularly seasonally, like let's say Thanksgiving, where you have a pie bake sale, etc. Potlucks, rotation of bringing food. So you put money in if you don't bring food. If you do bring food, you might be broken out in groups by alphabet of 4 different groups, so that one group a week is providing the food. So it's more it allows ability for people to participate, but not to have to do it every week. Large donation basket on the way out of the church. A basket or a deposit box for anybody who might have forgotten. Electronic donation access to make giving easier. Online contributions, which we are doing some of that, but we could maybe make that more prominent. We talked about a system at Agape in LA participating on an online system where they those who are participating online get an email. We appreciate your contribution, so that they're kind of connected to the giving aspect. So if we could participate more with our online presence and allow them more information on how to give. A homepage donate button on the home page, rather than going to the home page, going to donate, and then getting into the donate. Just have it right up front on the home page. A live auction on a Sunday after service, online, and maybe one in person. So periodically an auction after service and then one online, like we had this last time. A yard sale, parking lot trunk sale, where it's less labor intensive. It's not like all the donations come to the social hall and somebody's got to sort through them and put them together, which is how we had it once before, which was very productive, but it took a lot of manpower to get that done, and women power. So we're thinking maybe a trunk sale where people bring their items and then the shoppers come and look at what they want and pay for what they want, and then the trunk full of whatever's left over leaves the premises. So, sorry, that was one of the hang-ups I think we had with the other sale. Holistic, independent business person, kind of a, let's see, Susan, you spoke to that. Was it?
Wellness fair and entrepreneurial fair.
Yoga, labyrinth, eating, healthy eating, healing energy work, stuff like that. Or how to begin a business for the entrepreneurial type. A directory of services. Cook-offs with judges, we've talked about that before. Community cookbook for sale, host a special potluck with the recipes from the cookbook at the 80th anniversary, something engaging like that. Convert the sanctuary into a jazz club, live music, charge for admission. Sound baths, maybe more of those type of activities. Drag bingo, if Paul was here, he'd probably be in on that one. That was his idea originally, way back when. Renting space to LGBTQ prom communities, sponsor gay prom, 5 rhythms groups, partnering with other spiritual communities to co-group events, concerts, speakers, and so forth. Book study groups, outreach to help increase membership. We talked about a fundraiser that Reverend Elijah Christopher had with a tie-dyed badges, name badges for individuals, and people really like that. We talked about that in our 80th anniversary meeting too, that seemed to be a really cool thing that people just had to have their tie-dyed name badge. So we need to find out a little bit more about that. A social media attraction drive, everyone involved in sharing about their experience, videos, images, live stream on Facebook, edit and create short clips. That will take a little bit of talent, but that was an option. Hire, let's see, Yelp. Like us on Yelp. I don't know if we have a Yelp account. That might be some way of outreach. Meetups in person, classes, gatherings, events. That's another form of a gathering to get the word out there. Specific class on treatment, prayer, manifestation. Maybe treatment as a manifestation tool to bring people in from the outside, like a 2-hour workshop or something like that. Treatment for manifestation. Job visioning workshops, visioning for other experiences. Lots of visioning opportunities. And let people know we are here, however that outpictures. Just that whole marketing idea and getting the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living out in the community as an invitation to come in and visit. And yeah, I think that's it.
Quite a bit. Give it up for group 2. Where's group 3? Who's the spokesperson for group 3?
Here you go. I'll trade you.
Okay.
Okay, so we divide a lot of things into membership, how do we bring more people in, some fundraising, and facilities use. So there are subgroups to that. So I'm not going to repeat a lot of the stuff that was already said, but just to expand on them. Doing flyers to outreach to the schools. We have a lot of schools. We don't have to go down the hill. We've got Montclair, Thornhill, Redwood, Day, Joaquin Miller, all the Piedmont schools. And people in Piedmont, they have lots of money. So we need to do maybe some flyers and post them there, or kids who are coming here take flyers to their schools. Flyers to the immediate neighborhood around us, coffee shops. Maybe when we're having something at the center, we let the neighborhood know we're having a sound healing, we're having a social justice movie night, we're having the season for nonviolence. These are all things that we could invite the community, however that may be. We said flyers, I don't know other ways to do that, but to invite the local community in for these things. How do new people find us? We need to have a better understanding of those metrics and do more of what is working. So we weren't sure if when people sign in, if they have to say how they found us. So we would like to add that question to the sign-up sheet, and also do a better job on the website of tracking donations. When people are making donations online, if they are new people, like we just collecting those metrics and then doing what's working. Also have the welcoming committee personally go up and talk to new people after service. We gave that job to them because we thought that probably falls already into their, what they're already doing. And for members to do outreach at groups they belong to and let them know about who we are. Let's see. Okay, so facilities use. Bringing people in, maybe having a board game night. Could we provide a venue for film festivals that are looking for a venue? So they already have a festival. You don't have to create one, but maybe they need a venue and they want to show a film. So we can provide that venue. A craft or a maker group that would meet here on Sundays once a month. Again, out to the community, come and join it, and then maybe they would come to service and then go to the craft fair afterwards. As far as fundraising, we talked about things that we've done in the past: casino night, a spaghetti or crab feed, a dance party, and I think that's, one more thing. There was talk of in-kind donations, and we talked about having those list of donations that the center needs somewhere visible, whether that's on the website, again, expanding the website, or a list in the social hall so that members can donate them.
Give it up for group 3. Group 4.
Okay, so I sorted those during this meeting because it's past my bedtime, or my nap time, excuse me. And somehow I woke up and now I'm the spokesperson for Group 4. I don't know how the hell that happened. But I'm just going to read what we got here. The first one was reduce rental costs, and maybe we'd be able to get more people, so we'd get more people to rent at lower costs. Special Sundays, once a month, invite a friend Sunday, so that we actually, made that in stone. So every whatever it was, second Sunday every month or whatever it would be. We have a gorgeous stage, it includes picture of stage, market to schools or camps or other youth groups. Expand media exposure. OCSL booth at school fundraisers. Have local sports teams, radio stations, etc. sponsor OCSL fundraisers through contributions and advertising. Lots of talent in our congregation. Keep list of them. They might be willing to have an event and donate some or all of proceeds. Talent show. Offer foundation class or mini class on basics of CSL, how to write a treatment, basic principles. Offer quarterly. Put advertisement in local papers or submit articles. Post on website for people looking to volunteer opportunities with fundraising marketing experience. Health and wellness, fitness fair, or yoga class by celebrity teacher, laughter yoga. Big concert, great exposure even if it doesn't bring in a lot of money. And then let's see, make sure we're not just fundraising for sake of fundraising, not just for us. Times have changed. How do we redefine, focus our mission so that the mission guides our fundraising and everything else? What are we doing in and for the community? And then raffle, big items, computer, tablet, phone, etc. And that's it.
What about a car?
Yeah, what about a car? Okay, now it's my nap time for sure.
Oh, okay, we're going to assign that to you. Yes. Let's give it up for group number. Is that 4? And please be sure and put somebody's name on here in case, and phone number and email in case we need to ask questions about the writing, and we want to collect all of them. Group 5, and then we're going to have general discussion.
I'm the spokesperson.
Okay.
Yes. So we had several good ideas. Robert is brought to our attention that there's going to be a social justice movie afternoon in honor of Black History, 6888. This is going to be a love offering, and it's taking place on February 15th. Another idea we had is that to rent our space out and make our space more visible, we can reach out to schools that have bands that need a place to perform and practice, and they could reach out to their friends and families, letting them know that they have this wonderful space to do their rehearsal. My favorite one is have kids teach a tech-savvy class for people who aren't tech-savvy. On your phone, on your computer. I know I've got nephews who showed me how to use my iPhone just like that. We can offer a class in the education building to teach people how to use their phones. We can offer food and beverages or make it another potluck. Have more energizing music during service to increase membership. Do motivating music that will get the younger generation here and involved. As we own this place and it's safe and comfortable here, we can offer that to them. Also have tutorial services for kids, maybe in the nursery, or rent out the nursery center for tutorial services. Offer our facility as grounds for a summer camp, which was another idea. One of our members said that there is a theater group in Alameda that's always looking for rehearsal space
So we need to advertise our space more and make it more widespread for people to use, for schools to use in rehearsing. And then for the bookstore, offer chat sessions for books that are in the bookstore and include live streamers and charge for it. And last, during Wednesday night service, on the opening screen, perhaps we can include a link that people can click that says, please provide us with your email, and then have someone follow up with them to welcome them to the center and make them want to come back.
Are you complete?
Yes.
Wow, okay, give it up for group 5. Okay, thank you, everybody. We're almost there. We did start at 3:15, but we're trying to get you out of here as soon as possible. Robert, you want to facilitate a conversation? There may be questions or comments.
Here I am facilitating. Does anyone have questions or comments?
I think we need to remember poor people. That was the way I was raised. And I hope we have a social reach out. I mean, we used to have buckets of food and everything like that, and there needs to be more of that. We need to be known as a church that gives to others that are hurting.
Thank you.
Anybody else have anything else? Hands? No? Comments, questions? Any of the ideas?
So as we were having this conversation, something that came to me, how many of you have spare change that you just kind of have laying around your house? We could do like a spare change, bring in the coins and stuff that we have to collect on a Sunday whenever we come into the center, and just have a place to collect spare change. And that fills up pretty quickly. And so that will help bring some extra money in. You know, you're in your car, it's like, oh yeah, I got this change in my pocket or my purse, drop it in. So that's a great idea, I think.
I also want to say that this has been a wonderful forum, and I'm really happy about it. I've seen more people come today than I have seen in quite a long time. And to walk into the social hall and absolutely have to put out 4 short tables was amazing. And so I know that we have people that want to be in this community. My next question is, what's our next step? And how do we implement, or how do we go about condensing the list and prioritizing the list as a community? I'm complete.
So I know that our facilitator, Amy, mentioned metrics, but I wanted to just expand on that just a little bit, because what I would like to know, we are expanding. I do see some new faces, but in order to get better at expansion, you have to learn where that expansion came from. So we need to do a much better job of, if we are getting donations from the website, where are they coming from? What pages are they landing on? Because you need to do more of what's working, right? And you can't do more of what's working unless you understand what is working. The same with the new people that are coming in here. We need to understand where they came from, what motivated them to come here. So what are those metrics so that we can do more of what works? You mentioned at one point the particular speaker that came in and gives a phenomenally low price, which seems to attract more folks to participate in that workshop. Then we need to do more of that. So understanding metrics, what's working, cataloging it, and doing more of what works.
Give your mic to Linda. Thank you for that. And then here's I'll give you my mic, Susan, and we'll keep it rotating and then bring it to a close. You're absolutely right. And that includes our Breeze database and cleaning it up. And, you know, we had 2 young people today. They were so enthusiastic. I talk to everybody if I can. And I said, so who are you and where'd you come from and how'd you hear about us? And they said from Berkeley. So I don't know if they're Berkeley high schools or college, but they were young, came from the web. They found us online and said, we love the positive energy, we'll be back. But we do need to know that, like where they came from, so and how we write to them and engage them. So I'm right there with you, Cheryl. Linda?
I was just confused about the suggestion for the bookstore. I don't know what they were suggesting, so I need some expanding. And
was it one of the groups?
Yeah, it was group 5. Oh, no, it was something about a book check. Oh,
If you're going to keep talking, take the mic.
no, I'll think about it. You know, I think I've tried these things before, and they haven't really worked. So I could always try it again.
And I want to address what you said, Deborah. We're going to go into next steps shortly before we close out of here. We need teams to help implement some of this stuff. But even before that, we need somebody to help tease out these lists, see where there's overlaps. There's some, as I'm thinking of Dr. Margaret used to say, cosmic biggies in class. Like if there were more than one request for health and wholeness, she said, oh, that's a cosmic biggie. So we've had some cosmic biggies on these lists that are overlapping that we need to call down and see what is doable for our community, because we can't do it all. Like maybe this is a multi-year plan, because we don't want to overwhelm ourselves either. So we do need next steps, and we need volunteers. And I see some of the same people coming here. Y'all probably are already doing stuff. So y'all need to recruit some of the other people who are coming, especially when you see them repeat coming. Like this beautiful lady in blue right here. As soon as she came through the door and told me, I'm here and I'm coming back, don't you know, I went and asked her, will you do this thing? And plus she volunteered too. You know what that is? That's engagement, right? This is ownership and making her a part of the community. So I'm recruiting all of you to do that very same thing. Go talk to people and find out who they are and say, we need your help in this, that, or the other, and then get their help.
I keep having this thought come up about how in the 12-step programs, they have a principle that says we are based on attraction rather than promotion. And I actually think in certain environments, they both work really well hand in hand. And having the intention to attract can, as we create events, as we create activities, can have a strong impact on what we want to do here.
And in my mind, it's like what we had going on today with the power of the service and the potluck and all that kind of stuff, that is exactly that. That's about attracting people. And like we will see people, you know, I pass out the little packets for first timers, and we might have 1 or 2 people a week. Well, that's great, but do they come back and do they get engaged? Because if we had a person every week who stayed, that's like 50 people by the end of the year, you know, which is a significant growth. So having those services with the energy that'll keep people coming is really what we want to be about.
Okay, we're about to wind down. Anybody else have any parting comments, questions?
I just have a quick comment, which is that when we were talking, and I heard this from other groups too, is that you keep hearing people say things like, oh, schools are always looking for a place to practice, or summer camp. You know, we sent our kids to the Camp Sophim, which was a Jewish Community Center's summer camp for years, and they would sometimes move around to different places because they would rent out a church for the summer or something Monday through Friday. That kind of stuff is happening all the time. if you know about it, this is why we need to have everybody communicating. We need to be communicating together in what we're looking for so that we can be out there in the community saying, hey, you know, I'm a member of a facility that is really, you know, has a great facility for rent, you know, that kind of thing. So we need to be communicating that and getting the word out there. There's just a million avenues we can take.
Do we have all the notes? Here's group 5s. You have group, that's good. You have group 1. Make sure you put your name on it or somebody's name on it. And we have 2, we have 3. We need 2 more. Okay, and then it strikes me to say if there's anybody who wants to volunteer to help cull this list, that I'm going to put a piece of paper up here and you can volunteer, put your name on that list. And then we'll be in touch. So next steps. Do you have any suggestions?
Well, like you're saying, the next step is to consolidate the ideas and then to prioritize them and to see, you know, to reach out to people who's interested in, you know, pursuing some of the marketing ideas, who's interested in contacting the schools, you know, that sort of thing. So consolidating, prioritizing, and then, you know, delegating some of the top ideas to put into practice.
Do we have your list? I'm sorry. I'm
okay.
sorry I started talking too soon.
What we don't want to
have
happen
your
is just
list
to write it all down and have a great list that just sits there. We need to follow it up with action, and that takes all of us.
I was going to say, I can put the lists together into one if you like.
Oh, yay. Thank you. Thank you, Reverend Ikea. And today's her birthday. Say, happy birthday, Reverend Ikea.
Happy birthday.
And she wanted carrot cake for her birthday, so she brought it. I love that. Be the change you wish to see. I have 4 papers over there.
That's what should be put on the change jar.
The change jar. Okay. Rev Deb, you hear that? Wherever you are. Okay. On both sides of the jar.
Well, when we talked about next steps, one of the things would be to take the low-hanging fruit. And one is the membership badges. I've heard that mentioned at least in 3 of the groups. And I know somebody volunteered in one of our groups. And so let's just say thank you. We appreciate that. We'll accept your contribution. Am I right? Yes. And I think there are a few other examples of low-hanging fruit like that.
Yeah. That's an in-kind donation. So thank you very much. And I want to mention something that the anniversary committee is pursuing. I'm just waiting to hear back from Reverend Elijah Christopher in Santa Cruz. And they had 60-year anniversary last year. And what Elijah said is they had a name badge. It wasn't exactly like Best Name Badge, which is metal, but it was a plastic pre-printed name badge that was magnetized, you know, so you don't have to stick your clothes, and that it was tie-dyed. You know, they had a special print, and their gimmick was contribute $60 or more and you get a free name badge as a part of their fundraiser for the anniversary year. And then what it did is everybody was like, I got to have that name badge. I want to have that name badge. So anyway, I'm waiting to hear back and we'll explore that.
Well, it was Santa Cruz. That's why it was tie-dye.
Go ahead.
I'm just offering to help Reverend Ikea with your process of this whole event that we're trying to do. The note-taking.
Reverend Jerry, you have that captured. Nancy Hester is volunteering to help Reverend Ikea to cull these notes together. And let's give it up for Reverend Jerry Carter for taking notes. I asked her, would she on her computer, because she takes such good comprehensive notes. So do we have the last group's notes? We have 4 groups, and we had 5 groups. Oh, yours are in the computer. Got it. Any other next steps? What I heard was Reverend Jerry's going to put together the notes from this meeting, and Reverend Ikea, Reverend Nancy, you're capturing these as next steps. Reverend Ikea and Reverend and Nancy Hester are going to call these notes together, and then how are we going to get it back out to everybody? Bob is raising his hand.
Submitted. Ongoing process to have ideas. Culling notes is good, but we can add to those notes. We can think about it. We can have a dream and wake up and say, I know what was really help. So it's a process. It's continuation.
I was just going to suggest perhaps we could put a place on the website where it could be like, leave your comment here, and have it go to some central place. And maybe it could get included then in the Thursday newsletter.
Thank you, Bob. So that's also, Reverend Jerry, another action item is that we're going to do something to promote additional ideas. Thank you, Bob, because if you're anything like me, I'll go to sleep tonight and wake up with at least 4 more ideas.
There was also a suggestion to have a suggestion box here at the center that is not online. So if you think about it, you can actually put it in the box as well, because everyone will not be onliners.
Beautiful. Okay. Are we complete? Yes. Is this section, are we complete? Yes. What about this section? You feel we complete? Yes. For now. Okay, I got it for now. You want your...
Jerry's email. I want emails.
You want emails?
Right, that's how I communicate.
Emails of who?
Of the powers that be. You know, the ministers and the practitioners.
Okay. Some of them are online.
Where?
On oaklandcsl.org, about us. Okay. Under practitioners, the ministers might be there. It's not fully up to date, but that's a start.
Yeah, also the cards aren't fully up to date.
The cards are, yeah. So we do have some work. That I do know. So we're complete, right?
Chat? Oh, there aren't no chat suggestions? Okay.
Thank you for checking. Thank you for asking. I think we need to give ourselves a hand. Wasn't this a good meeting? Okay, yes. Oh, that would be good. I think it is a group comment. So Reverend Jerry was asking me if the notes from this meeting could be culled together and then sent to Reverend Ike and Reverend, and I keep calling you Reverend, Nancy. It's okay. It's, you know, you heard it first here. Okay. Okay, very good. Very good. Okay, everybody's going to get some sort of a capture. Do you mind? I'm coming over here. Are you willing to do a closing? Okay, so are we at the point we're ready to do a closing prayer? Yes. Okay, I've asked Reverend Allie if she would do that. Here we go.
Following Reverend Sunshine's example, I'm going to ask everyone to take a couple of breaths together, because that is a lot of information. Let's just settle, let it all, the swirl, let it go, and settle into a quieter place with each breath, letting each breath be a little bit slower and a little bit deeper. And lo and behold, when we get quiet and go inside like that, what we find waiting for us is the presence of Spirit. that peace that passes all understanding, that part of our divine nature that can never be hurt, harmed, or hindered, that is just always there connecting us to spirit, connecting us to each other, connecting us to everything that is. And in that place of infinite possibility, we are each finding ourselves guided. That still small voice within that tells us, if we listen, what is ours to do. What is ours to do and what is ours to do together. We know we have a mission here. We know that we have a place in this world that is about holding that sacred space for spirit to show up in the world as each of us and as our community, knowing that that vibration of spirit goes out from this place. It goes out to each person we touch in our week, each person we think about, each person who is looking for us when we don't even know they're looking for us yet. And in that place, we are so, so grateful. We know that everything we do that proceeds from that place proceeds with grace and ease, and we are very grateful. In that space, I simply speak my word into the law that only says yes to those intentions we hold from that space, and is already saying yes. And we are excited by the fact that it is saying yes. We can let go and let God. And I anchor this prayer by saying, and so it is.
Thanks for coming, everybody. Get home safely. Know that we love you.